Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the encounter building stream. We're going to be making some fights for my players. The basic goal for this, we're gonna be. I need to build 4 encounters, 4 combat encounters. Eh, I don't know if I'm going to get to 4 of them tonight, maybe, but I think the basic plan is to teach the players how to draw steel, and so using the amazing Delian Tomb pregens as an example, we're going to be sort of building up how much each hero has on their character sheet to learn in each combat. So starting with no heroic resource or those types of actions, and moving on over the first 4 encounters. I didn't know that it was just 4 encounters at first, and then I wrote an adventure that has four combat encounters right out of the gate in the first part. So moving on to the next parts, you'll be able to have your full character sheet unlocked, basically. The one thing I haven't taken into account, and we're going to have to run through the adventure again to see, but I don't know how many victories they will have at the beginning of each encounter. So I want to double check with that. I haven't looked into that quite yet. I wanted to maybe do that live, I suppose. I have done some extensive work on the adventure thus far. So we still have this overview, which is kind of obsolete at this point. And then we have some more stuff that I'm going to say. I'm going to read this off at the very beginning of the adventure. It needs another pass or so. I just kind of, it was just sort of the word, the verbal diarrhea, I suppose, as I was jotting it down. And then, all the stuff with introducing the rival party, and then the first encounter. I think I've written a few things. I think that's about it, actually. Other notes, like the Black Obelisk, maybe. Who knows? Maybe that's too much. Maybe it's too complicated for a first encounter. And I think that's probably it. And then I have more notes about, the rest of the adventure down here. What part 2 would probably be. I've had some cool ideas about how I can incorporate the dwarves into it. But yeah, let's dive right in here. So yeah, I've written an explanation of the world, introducing them to the world of Orden, and specifically Omen's Land. The new power shift of the death of Good King Omen, and Ajax on the rise, and how other people have been, how the dwarves of Calcalavar have promised him slaves. The Hawk Lords are now his spies and enforcers, and the High Elves giving them cool little magic items, and the Black Iron Pact as well. And then also reserving this whole thing, like the War Dogs they are the main bad guys of this adventure. So I wanted to really reinforce that as well. And then of course, you are the one beacon of hope for these people. You are those heroes. Then we have, starting off very similar to Dusk, because it takes place at Dalrath Keep. So I thought, well, we already have a tavern like that, the Festive Goblin. We will be introducing the characters and building out what the first adventure was, thinking that this is very much like the Cave of High Weirdness. How I started that one was there was a whole other adventure that they played before we start playing. There was a whole other. This is the second movie in a trilogy, as it were. And so what was that first movie? This is the sequel. And so you have a bunch of questions like, it was who, what, when, where, and why, pretty much, of what I want. And then one more, what do the people of Dalrath call your party? And it might be a bit premature. Maybe I'll feel her out. I feel the party out whenever we're actually at the table. See if it's appropriate to ask if the name of the party, or maybe they start to think about the name of the party from the very beginning, sort of seed that thought, and then introducing obviously the rival party that are sort of the bad guys of the adventure. They're the through line. They're the B plot. And I came up with the name The First and Finest because that seems so smug and in your face, like the first. Well, we were here first, and even though they've been following the heroes, yeah, we were here first, and we are better than you. That's brutal. I should probably post on Blue Sky and in the MCDM Discord. I meant to do that. There we go. Post done. Beautiful. Incredible. Okay. But yeah, so this whole thing, there's Cyric, the Silver Tongue, the devil leader. He walks with an air of confidence, pushing past the civilians packed into the tavern. And then Bancroft Two-Buckle. I think all of these names are taken right from the Heroes book, the naming conventions section. I needed a polder there. I wanted, each heroic class, there needs to be a villainous class, and we'll get into that in the fourth encounter whenever they fight these guys. The Watcher, the human revenant, who leers at the patrons of the inn. And then Ulian, I believe, is how you pronounce that name. And he is the Hakan. The Hakan, oh God, I forget. Maybe Hakan, oh yeah, Hakan made of stone. Yeah, Hakan Earth Elementalist. And then a Czar, the Angry Dwarf. And I want them to have that sort of air of arrogance, of sort of gloating, maybe pride or something. They think they are better than them. So the first interaction really is after we get the juices flowing with all of this section, the introduction. We need to get them rolling dice. So I figured they would be playing a game of crowns and knaves, and it's a good way. I need to do this so that they pair off. I think that's going to be a different stream of a couple of different montage tests that I have to design, and I want to make them each different from the last so that you have different objectives and obviously, different objectives and whatnot. This is definitely more interpersonal stuff and intrigue heavy. And that kind of stuff, gambling, that kind of stuff. But I thought, why waste your time thinking about what the rules of the actual game are? It's about gambling, and it's about rolling dice and playing cards, and those are the two main ways that you have gambling in these types of taverns and these types of stories. So why not incorporate both of them? And then you can have someone who's cheating, trying to look at the other people's hand of cards, or trying to roll the dice in a way that's cheating and whatnot, maybe holding one of the die. It opens it up twofold instead of just a regular card game or regular dice game. And then I have a little bit here of, setting us up for the encounter as you exit the tavern. And again, I might change this if we do the Black Obelisk, which I'm going to obviously tone down if we do put something in there. As you exit the tavern, the statue of the Dragon Knight hero is in the courtyard is being ripped from the ground as a massive, stitched-together dragon made of different color scales and flesh. By a massive... Yeah, okay, yeah. Riding atop the dragon, a hooded figure holding a floating green skull sprouting out of the earth is a legion of undead. Who? See, this is why I go over it a million times. Who crawl toward the civilians of Dalrath, gripping them with otherworldly strength. So the idea is that in this first encounter, you have a bunch of zombies, and they are uh, grabbing. They're grabbing a bunch of the civilians. You have to You have to break the zombies. You got to break the civilians free of the zombies' grip, and then the encounter will be over. But that's the premise thus far. The dragon then obviously flies away because you're not going to fight a dragon in the first encounter. That's crazy. But you want to see the dragon. You want to see the dragon. You need to see the bad guy. So draw steel. I have a map for it. Let's see. Untitled War Dog Adventure. Yeah. Battle maps. Here. Let's see if this messes up here. This is another Cheinpeiku. I think all of the maps are Cheinpeiku specials. And again, I'm going to be playing this at the table. I'm not going to have this printed out per se, but I'm going to have the rough idea of, this area here. Let me see how the stream looks here. Is this? Yeah, we're all good. We have the rough outline of this is going to be one square up. This statue is going to be gone. I think it might, if we do the black obelisk, this statue, instead of getting ripped from the ground, the earth might rise up and create a black obelisk toppling the statue of the Dragon Knight. I like that symbolic. Is that symbology? Is that what it is? It's very symbolic of, the Dragon Knight's falling because of Ajax's actions. I like that. So we're gonna maybe these cats or these horses. They kind of look like panthers and horses at the same time, but they're probably horses. But they might turn into like rams or something. Oh, I like that. Let's write that down. Blah 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 blah. Extra flavor stuff like the water turns. Oh yeah, the water turns. These are all also useless details that I'm just thinking of just getting inspired by this map. That's part of it. Is if you look in the encounter, step by step encounter building, it says look at it, get a map and get inspired by it. So yeah, there's a fountain here, and it can turn color or something. That the fountain water turns color of iron. Color of iron. Does that make any sense? Turns black. Black iron. I don't know. But yeah, and then you have, obviously all these tents over here. It's a market. It's a busy market. And there are people here. And this is probably going to be the tavern right there. I think this is an early Cheinpeiku map as well. It looks very early. It doesn't have their very particular design that I've become accustomed to. But yeah, a bunch of stuff around the sides. There's plenty of space in the map for characters to move around. Maybe these are pillars that you can get smacked into or something. But again, when we're building this encounter, we have to remember that we need to be rather simple in the encounter design. That's why I'm saying maybe a toned down black obelisk, something to focus the hero's attention and say, hey, we need to destroy that thing, but not something that is so overly complicated or too strong in the actual encounter that will result in a TPK or kill any heroes. This is going to be, if we're gonna choose the difficulty, it's probably going to be a trivial encounter. But again, I mean, if they pick up on the combat system fast, I mean, that's good, right? That is good. but so you don't want it to go. You don't want it to go too long, but you also don't want it to go. You don't want it to be over too quickly. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. They're hopefully they'll just get it. And again, this is the heroes don't have triggered actions or their heroic abilities. They generate resource just for their bonuses, like growing ferocity. Where let's look at the pre-gens actually here. Here's the pre-gen for the null. The well, it says the sensor on here, but I think this is a typo. But it's the same. For the first encounter, you have your resource, and then you have your benefit as with the chart and everything. You have other things, and you just have main actions, and you have your inertial step. A bunch of main actions. You don't have any maneuvers yet, other than the generic maneuvers, which I'm going to hand out a whole thing. I got a whole. I got this thing from I believe it's Forged Steel, where when you build a character, you can look at all of these generic maneuvers here, and it's so useful. This thing is so useful. It hopefully will explain all that they can do with their maneuver right out of the gate. I don't know how many. I don't know if I'll give this to them immediately. I might, but it's a lot of stuff on here. It's a lot of stuff on here. I'll probably give this to them in the first fight. But again, the idea here is that we are slowly peeling away the different complexities of the of combat in Draw Steel. So let's get on with it. So here is the step-by-step encounter building. We're not going to go through this every time, but the first time I think is important. So step one, think. Most step ones in this, most of the first steps in any of the process in Draw Steel is think. Building an encounter is almost like creating a character. Every encounter should have the following: a backstory or an inciting incident, cool monsters, a motivation for the participants to be there, stakes or consequences for failure for all individuals involved, one or more opportunities for the heroes and villains to learn more about their opponents or themselves, an interesting map that provokes the heroes to think about their moves as a team. See choosing a map layer in this section. Step two. So we do have an idea. So the backstory of the inciting incident is that the war dogs are attacking this town, and they want the town, and they're gonna take it. And then they have to weaken the resolve of the people. Cool monsters, yeah, undead are cool. Motivation for the participants to be there. Well, they got to survive, don't they? And they also have to be. They also have to save the civilians. Stakes or consequences for failure for all individuals involved. For the heroes, it's the civilians dying, and for the civilians, it is for the civilians dying. One or more opportunities for the heroes and villains to learn about their opponents or themselves. So I think the big thing is learning about the end boss, which is that war dog on the dragon. And then an interesting map that provokes the heroes to think about their moves as a team. It's a big map. It's a big old map. A lot of squares on here. And I think having the obelisk would be really cool, because then they could just rush in there. There's two objectives, right? There's saving the civilians, and then there's destroying the obelisk. Is that too straightforward? No, I don't know. Again, this is why we're doing this. Yes, map is interesting. Check. Step two, choose the encounter difficulty. We're gonna go with trivial encounter. Trivial encounters are easier than easy. They present no challenge at all for the heroes, who are guaranteed to survive the battle with their stamina mostly, if not entirely, untouched. So, again, if we're going to teach the players how to, teach them combat and the steps in combat and what their characters could do, I think I want to go trivial for the most part. but they will gain a victory, of course, because I want to reward the players. You wanted to teach them about rewards. Okay. Determine encounter strength. So to determine how many creatures and other types of challenges you should have in an encounter, you need to figure out the hero's encounter strength, abbreviated ES. A party's encounter strength is used as a benchmark for buying monsters for your encounter, as explained below. To calculate a party's ES, first determine each hero's encounter strength. This starts at a baseline of 4, to which you add 2 for each level of the hero. So it is 4, 6, right? Yeah. Third level hero has an encounter strength of 10. Then add the encounter strength of all heroes together. So it's going to be 5 of them. So we have 6, 8, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30. So we have 30. Okay, cool. There's a chart right there. For those who are not good at math, like myself, each retainer counts as a hero. Okay. Factor in victories. So I think at this point they will have 1 victory because of the montage test. I'm pretty sure they're going to have 1 victory. They might have 1 or 0 victories. Victories make heroes more powerful on their way to their next level. Okay. So, yeah, for every 2 victories that have earned on average, increase the party's encounter strength as if there were another hero in the party. For instance, if a party of third level heroes has 2 or 3 victories each, increase the ES by 10. If they have 6 victories each, increase the ES by 30. Be careful that the larger encounter strength doesn't lead you to using more creatures than recommended in number of creatures below. It's usually better to use higher cost creatures in an encounter rather than add extra creatures when increasing encounter strength because of victories. Since you can rarely predict the exact order in which the heroes will face encounters during an adventure, it helps to keep a list of monsters with an EV cost worth roughly the encounter strength of 2, 4, and 6 victories that makes sense for the adventure you're running. You can then easily drop or swap these creatures into an encounter on the fly. Very, very good advice. So let's determine the encounter budget. Okay, so the trivial encounter, so our score is 30, right? So trivial encounters have a budget that is anything less than the party's ES minus the encounter strength of 1 hero. So then it would be what? It would be 24. Okay, so our budget is 24 right now for this encounter. So then we go into other things. Spend encounter budget. You spend your encounter budget to buy hostile creatures to take part in your encounter. Each such creature costs a number of budget points equal to its encounter value, EV, which is always on the creature's stat block. When choosing creatures, try to choose a variety of creature roles for a more dynamic combat experience. Now consider creature level to ensure an encounter is challenging but not devastating to the players. You must choose. You want to choose creatures whose level is no more than 2 greater than the hero's level. For instance, creatures of level 7 and below are appropriate challenges for a party of 5th level heroes. If the heroes have 6 or more victories, you can push the upper limit to within 3 levels of the heroes. And then solos are obviously the exception. Minions come in groups of 4. We'll get into minions in a little bit. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some minions. We definitely want to have some minions in this first encounter. In terms of number of creatures, we want to have, I think, a bunch of minions, but not a lot of other ones, higher level creatures. Build initiative groups. So we're going to want to take minions and then give them captains. So groups of 4. For every 4 minions, there's 1 captain. And in a battle with a solo creature, you want about as many initiative groups as number of heroes. without a solo creature. Plus or minus 1 or 2. So yeah, you want about the same. Yeah, that makes sense because they're going to go back and forth in initiative, and you don't want them. You don't want a dog pile at the end, where a bunch of monsters go in between hero turns. You want it to be pretty even. That makes sense. Okay. Then you have all the different types of creatures here: ambusher, artillery, brute, controller, defender, harrier, hexer, leader and support creatures, minions, mounts, and solo creatures. And those are pretty self-explanatory, I think. Choosing a map, this just kind of goes into, you know, the different elevations, different things that get in the way. How can you have the heroes get smacked into pillars like we were saying earlier? And then objectives. So this is the big thing that's in question with this encounter. Ideally, we want it to be very obvious what the objective is, and I don't want the objective to just be kill them all. I think that will... it's just not... it will give sort of the wrong impression about draw steal, maybe, right out of the gate. I want there to be... I want there to be a clear difference between the 5e combat that we've all played in, everyone at the table meaning, and draw steal combat, which can have different objectives and sub-objectives and all that type of stuff. So that's why I liked the idea of the Black Obelisk. Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's something like the Black Obelisk is a crazy thing. I think it's a third level one. I was looking at it a little bit earlier before I was on stream. So it might be a bit much. But maybe if I make my own thing and it pushes people back or something like that, that would be interesting. Yeah. All right. Oh my God. It's billowing wind out there where I am. Okay. Let's go into, well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Undead, just get that up and running here. And we're going to start looking at all these beautiful stat blocks. And we're going to go to build encounter install. Here we go. So I have this all built out. Kind of. And we're going to look at the different undead. So yeah, we're gonna look at some of the undead here. Like the crawling claw. I want some crawling claws in there. I want some crawling claws. Let's look at the map here. Let's look at the map. Let's move the map right over here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we can look at all these stat blocks and the map as well, and we can kind of figure out, all right, where should the heroes start? Probably in this area here. And then where should these monsters start? I think what I like to do with combat is if we're going to do the Black Obelisk or something to that effect, maybe this statue morphs into a statue of Ajax. That'd be really cool. Ooh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Let me just write something down here. There. So then it's the the iron. It's literally the Iron Saint. That's yeah, that's cool. I like that idea. So this turns into the Iron Saint or whatever the DTO is. So DTO, it just means dynamic terrain object, right? So just for those who don't know the term, And so now we're going to look at some of these cool monsters. There's the creeping claw. Look at that. Look at that cutie. Yeah. And then some skellies. I need some skellies in there. I love the soul white. I love the soul white and the umbral stalker. I believe that's what that's supposed to be. The soul white might be a little bit with the soul stealer longsword. Might be a little bit rough for a first encounter. Yeah, it probably is. I really love it though. I think we're probably going to go with a bunch of minions. Okay, so what I was going to say was I like in combat starting with a wave of squishy ones that they have to push past. They have to break the line. It's very thematic if they break the line of the first wave, right? And then you have a bunch of these other ones with the little objectives, and there can be little mini fights. Like there could be a mini fight over here and a mini fight over here. A bunch of like little sections of the fight that are going on where you can the heroes kind of have to split up a little bit. I really like that. I really like dividing and conquering, that kind of thing. But I like that first push. That first push of like, okay, this is what we got to do for our first turn. We're all gonna have to break through these things, and things are happening elsewhere, all the way through this map. Excuse me, sorry. There are other battles going on, other threats going on, and this first wave is just a nuisance for the heroes at first. So, I'm thinking maybe 5 civilians, 1 for each hero. But 5 might. I think 5 is concise, right? I think 5 makes sense. Again, I don't want to overwhelm the players. The heroes can do whatever. The heroes can take care of these guys, really handedly. But the players need to kind of dip their toe into the water a little bit. What do they have? Again, the heroes don't have triggered actions or their heroic abilities at all. So they still generate resource for their growing ferocity or whatever. Whatever the null had here. Their little benefit table. So let's actually get some monsters out here. I like the crawling claws. I like this first wave being claws that can get all over you and scrape their fingernails on you. That's gross. That's cool. Let's do 2 squads. Group 1. Crawling claws, and then their captain. Let's italicize that so I know that I need a captain there. Bold that. All right. And if we have 5 different civilians that we need to save, that will probably be 5 different groups. Now that doesn't. It could be a number of other groups. So we want ranged folks in the back, constantly peppering them. So we want we want some skellies, and we want someone. Yeah, all right. Let's do some skeletons. Let's do some decrepit skeletons. I'm thinking as a rear guard, as like a section over here. We have some skellies that are firing at them. I like that. And then we have a regular skeleton. Captain. Okay. Again, we want to go a little bit slow here. A little bit slow. Crawling claws. Who could be the crawling claws? Leader. again, some of these people, some of these enemies could just be captains just there. Just there, like I'm thinking the Soul White could be the second wave that, but they're in charge of um, they're in charge of the crawling claws, and they are, yeah, they're sort of hanging back, and they're not in the first round of combat. They're in like the middle range. They're in where's the map? Where's the map? They're somewhere holding, like hanging back, and they move in towards the heroes, and then they both crash towards each other because they only have 10 stamina. That's not that bad. That's not that much. That's probably one hit. Um, yeah, that's probably one hit, maybe 2 hits. So it's not that much. I'm probably gonna take away these effects right here with the potencies. I'm probably just gonna do some damage because I don't want to layer in the conditions too early as well. I want to just take, okay, corruption damage. Boom, they slash at you. And then I like the effect here. I like the effect. Yeah. As you start to age and whatnot. Again, with immunities as well. Might not need any immunities either. Definitely tone down these monsters enough. For sure. And I'm probably not going to have any malice either. I might have malice. I'm not sure. It really depends. So maybe there's a Soul White captain here. God. Captain hanging back has to double move. Again, I'm putting in here in this little chart. Normally I wouldn't do this. Normally I wouldn't do this because we'd be running on the codex. So I would just be plopping them all down on the battle map. But for the purposes of this adventure, I'm going to be running at the table, so I need a chart like this, and I'll print off little tokens as well to represent, or we have minis of skeletons and whatnot. So now group 3. Let's see what else we got. We want some zombies, right? We need some zombies out there. I think we need, if there are 5 of them, maybe it's 2 groups of rotting zombies with a big boy zombie. Where are the big boy zombies? Yeah, there we go. Right here. 2 big boy zombies in there as well. Yeah. So 2 groups of zombies, running zombies, each with a captain of a big boy zombie. Yeah. Okay. And these ones, remember, the objective is not kill all the zombies, or it is free the civilians. If you free a civilian, what happens when you free a civilian? What happens in this encounter? Maybe it's if you free a civilian, I guess they run free, obviously, and maybe the skeletons. I mean, it's not difficult. How else are you gonna free the civilian? Just killing it, right? So yeah, maybe we don't have to overthink it. And then we have a zombie captain. We just copy and paste, baby. And I think we have 2 of those. We have 1 skeleton one, and then we have crawling claws. That's probably it. Now let's calculate. Let's calculate how much this costs. Let's see. So we have crawling claws. We have EV3. Plus we have, oh my god, I was going to do this in stall. What a fool. Okay. We can just do this. Crawling Claw. Add. And it has all this here. And then it has, let's go with... All right, so it does not have everything in there yet. Okay. So I will need to just use a calculator. Does not have that? So it does not have those ones in there. I should have looked. I should have looked at that first. Here's the monsters tab here. All right, so let's do some simple math. So we have 3 plus we have a soul white, which is also 3. So that's 6. 6 plus skeleton, which is another 3, plus the decrepit skeleton, which is another 3, plus we have 4 rotting zombies, 8 rotting zombies, so we can do 6 plus another zombie here. Where's the zombie? Plus 3. Equals 21, which our budget for this one specifically was 24. So that's cool. So we are under budget for this. And then we were also going to look at the Black Obelisk. Let's look at dynamic terrain, supernatural. So the Black Obelisk is an EV of 20 as is. So it's 100 stamina, which we would have to bump down to maybe 50. It's a size 2 object. Deactivate as a maneuver creature. Adjacent to the Black Obelisk can make a reason test. Depending on it. Oh, wow, yeah. So the obelisk is... They can try and deactivate it. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And at the beginning of the round, this happens, which I would definitely tone down. That I would definitely tone down. It would either slow them, slow and weaken, frighten, slowed and weakened. I think it would probably do some form of knockback. Some form of knockback in a 10 burst would be interesting. Yeah. So let me think about this. Yeah. But something like that, some kind of 5 DTO that pushes the heroes. Again, and then putting these, we're pretty much done with this encounter. So, and this whole thing was, we spent a long time just explaining how to get to this point. So what I'll do is kind of doctor up something here for a DTO that would be interesting, that would push them away while, obviously it's channeling this necrotic energy that keeps these undead alive. Unalive. Undead, I suppose. So that will be the first encounter. The humans can turn into zombies. I don't think adding more enemies, that's too complex. Again, Past Cam is thinking too. It's just putting things down on the paper, on the page to see what he can get away with. So, again, a big chunk of this needs to be rewritten. Needs to be these are just, again, things on the paper. Split up the quadrants. No, I don't think we need that. I think instead of doing quadrants, like I said in the last stream, I think we're just going to do waves of it. And little sections, kind of like quadrants, but, the 5 different civilians that they have to save. And then we also answered the question, potentially, why does this combat end? Because of the DTO. War Dog on Warbeast, we already have that written up. the end of combat. No, we already did that. We need heroes. So now another big thing, another big scene here, where they're going to talk about, hey, we need you to go to the high elves and get them to stop trading with the bad guys and giving them all this stuff. This will be, they then set out that we have an interlude of some refugees, and then I've worked out some more details about this next combat encounter. Another town close to Dalrath Keep is Wend, and it's going to be in ruins. This is where the dwarf slavers were last hitting for more friends, as it were, and they're going to this whole town is going to be destroyed and now being picked over by the Black Iron Pact. Some basically stormtroopers. Yeah, I treat the Black Iron Pact as stormtroopers. The war dogs are death troopers, that kind of thing, and have them. You can even play it up like they have Black Iron rams for helmets. You can make them look really intimidating and make them cooler than just humans, which they are. Which that's exactly what they are. So we're going to go into another encounter with humans here. Let's design something. So we now have how many victories? So we're going to have a victory from the first section here for this montage test, potentially. Then we have another victory from the combat. And then I don't know if we get any more victories from these two things. If anything, I might be rewarding them with hero tokens. So I don't think you're getting any more victories. So I think you just have 2 victories going into this next encounter. Cool. Okay. So that means that you bump up the your budget by 1 hero. So we're acting as if there are 6 heroes. Now the objective here for this encounter is that the Black Iron Pact soldiers are picking through the town of Wend, and there are lower ranking members. Let me just read what I have written down. Members of the Black Iron Pact are surrounding a building and yelling, "We know you're in there, worm. Come out and we may let you live." So I don't know who's in there. Probably they might be a retainer in the future. Might be a little early to teach them about retainers, but maybe they only become a retainer after they return back to Dalrath Keep. Maybe. Just sort of maybe planting the seed of, hey, someone else, and you're learning a little bit more of the, you're meeting more people in the town, and more people that are affected by Ajax. So yeah, this person, whoever they are in a building. The Black Iron Pact have them surrounded, and then the heroes go in. And they, I found it difficult to get an entry into this because I was like, well, why do the heroes stop in this town, and why are they like, what are the Black Iron Pact doing to make the heroes stop and want to fight them? Because they don't really have any reason to do anything. They could just avoid this encounter entirely and just keep on going. But if there's someone in trouble, that will probably push them into action. Because obviously they're heroes. So, this next one's going to be a human combat. So at this point, the heroes will only have up to their 3 cost abilities and their triggered actions, just like in the pre-gens. The second encounter, what do you get? You get your null field, you get your stunning blow, you get your inertial shield, you get your triggered actions, your maneuvers, and your main action. So also maneuvers, whatever other maneuvers up to their 3 cost of their maneuvers. 3 cost abilities and their triggered actions. The talent won't have their ward yet. And I made note of that because we do have a talent in the party. No, we don't actually have a talent in the party. I don't need that. Perfect. Because we're just gonna have the first 5 iconics. Yeah. So the party's gonna be a Fury, a Tactician, a oh god, what are the other 3? Fury, Tactician, Elementalist, Shadow, and Sensor. So let's get into who these humans are going to be. Who are these folks? Human rogue, that could be cool. A brawler, death cultist. I want sort of a smattering of both marshals and spellcasters. That could be cool. Yeah, let's... A death cultist might be a bit too much. Human knave could be very cool, yeah. What does the facility... What's their facility for healing? Where's the sensor? Shadow. Ah, the sensor has the typo in there, so we don't know what they would have. But they would have... At this point, they can have their trigger, so it's going to be my life or yours. So they have a bit more facility for healing. The map that I have, I believe these ones are going to be in order. It's going to be this, except we're kind of ignoring the interior here. It's mostly just going to be... mostly just going to be this exterior here. So what we want to do... We have a bit of altitude here with this section, and I think that the building that they're going to be the retainer will be in is in this building. Fight mostly taking place in this section here. Okay, so we have some high ground. Maybe there are a couple of them on the roof. That could be cool. That could be cool. Yeah, let's get some archers in there. Let's get a squad of archers. Yeah, human archer. There we go. Group 1. Four human archers, and then give them a trick shot. What's the trick shot? What's your EV? 6. Oh, dang. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see how it... human... So some archers on the roof. Then we want... the heroes might start in this section over here. And they might be able to be stealthy. They might be able to stealth up to these folks and catch them by surprise. That could be cool. That could be really cool, actually, if they have that opportunity. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe there's someone like if we think about this, if we contextualize this as they're trying to get into that building and they're trying to get this guy. First of all, the person has to be very important. To them to be able to, bust in there. So maybe they have someone, they have a couple of archers trying to go through the chimney, go in through the chimney and like trying to get in that way because they, they have the whole place surrounded, but maybe they've locked the doors and barred the windows or something like that. That could be cool. Yeah. There we go. 1 M in chimney, of course. Obviously. Yeah, they're trying to get in the chimney. Yeah, this is a good idea to catch them by surprise. This would be cool because then the heroes have triggered actions in that first oh, hello. They have the triggered actions in that first round. They have that edge over the bad guys. Is this on the codex? No, it is not on the codex. I am not running the codex at all, actually. This is just with the monster book and a Word document, and then I have a map right here that is just about that's as advanced as it's gonna get tonight. So we have some folks on the roof trying to get in through the chimney. That's cool. That's fun. Maybe the top windows as well. But I like the chimney. I like that visual. They have them surrounded, so there's got to be people around the back as well, or at least on the corners, so that they can look out and see if he, goes out the back. So I feel like we should also have, not the Storm Mage, Jesus Christ, we can't have that. Death Cultist, Knave, maybe I think a couple Brawlers, maybe? A Brawler with some Raiders or Guards, yeah. A Brawler with a squad of Guards. Human Brawler. I'm putting together a game together for my D&D group where I'm going to be the director, but we play online. Oh yeah, well the Codex is a great VTT already. It's amazing. I play using the Codex every week, and it's getting better every single week. It's amazing. But there are also other ones that are being developed, like community run modules for Fantasy Grounds. I know Robin Baggett is doing that. And then there's also one for Foundry as well. That is apparently very good. There's a whole thread in the MCDM Discord just talking about like Foundry VTT and that whole realm of things. So if you're playing online, those are your two main options. And then there's obviously Roll20. That Roll20 has a macro for Draw Steel, and then there's always Owlbear Rodeo. If you want to keep it very, very simple, there's macros for that as well. Just look on the Discord. So, Human Brawler and Raiders, I think. Melee 1, 3 damage, blah, 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 blah. They can charge. Yeah, they can charge. Ooh, that's very useful. Rogues. Nah, let's just go. Yeah, Raiders. Yeah, Human Raiders. 4 Human Raiders. I think the last stream I said that humans, if we're talking about like the coolness level, the epicness level of these fights, we want to progress and make each fight cooler or more dynamic than the last. We can easily make them more dynamic, but on a level of like undead, are we taking a step down by making the next encounter humans? And I think if we make the encounter cool enough, I think that I don't think that will be a problem. I also this kind of just flashed for me. So what if there's a ticking clock? They have to. Yeah, hold on. Maybe there's a ticking clock with this where they have to save saving the civilian again. I don't know. Doing that twice in a row. Maybe this is just an all-out fight. This might be just an all-out fight. Maybe there's a victory condition with. Yeah, find a purpose for this encounter. I think I did. Yeah, when they sense they're going to lose, they blow a whistle and they call for the Hawk Lords. That's interesting. Maybe also flee. We have Foundry already with a hosting service, so I'll be either the Codex, got a test code, cool, or Foundry. Nice, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Codex is good for most classes up to level 3. I think the first echelon, they're pumping them out. They're good for testing, rather. And then they're really pushing a lot of those classes out. I just got here. Can you give me a rundown of the scene? Oh, yeah. So This is now the second encounter for this adventure. The heroes have just escaped, have just been sent to on a quest to negotiate with some high elves, and they stumble across this ruined town, Wend, where seemingly the final survivor of Wend is sort of trapped in this building, and a bunch of members of the Black Iron Pact are surrounding the building and threatening the human, and they're going to get in at some point, but it's it's up to the heroes to intervene and make sure that they don't. We want to do maybe a hexer. I don't know who would be their captain though. Maybe they don't have a captain. I don't know. A hexer. No, we don't want to go into any of this. Jesus, no way. There is a point where you just kind of you scroll too far down in the monster book, and you're like, oh no, I've stepped off the deep end. The longer the stat block, the more the less likely the heroes will survive. Yeah. Okay. So human brawler, we already have one of those. We have what are the others? So what I usually do is I start with minions and then I build out from there. What kind of minions do I want in there, and where do I want them? So we already have people on the roof. We could have people, and they're going to have high ground most likely. We have this mound right here by this well, which would be cool. Oh god, no, that's the next map. So we want to have maybe some folks here as lookouts, maybe not lookouts. They're all focused on this one building, but you can take the fight there, and maybe the heroes can use this as a high ground. This little oasis or whatever this is, that's the well, clearly. So we have brawlers and some guards, or raiders. I believe I put raiders or guards. Yeah, raiders. So maybe we have some death acolytes with a scoundrel. Yeah, sounds cool. Death acolytes with another one that's not an ambusher, actually. Someone who has range. Yeah, human knave. Yeah, let's go human knave and death acolytes. So 4 human death acolytes. Spelling is difficult sometimes. And then a human knave. You want to look at their stat blocks and say, hey, look, this one has range 10, and who else is going to go in that initiative group? You want to look at ranged 5, and you want to make sure that they're both ranged. They both have ranged capabilities or the same capabilities, right? If one's melee, then the other one needs to be melee as well. It's a captain. What else? If these ones are going to be the knaves, well, the brawler and their squad should be, I think, maybe around the corners, maybe over here and over here, flanking the building, waiting for an escape, because they have, they all have relatively the same speed. I think they'll just pounce on them pretty much. But who's out front? People out front are probably going to be the death acolytes. Do we want 2 more groups, or is that enough? Let's see. Let's find out. So our budget is now still 24, right? Because we haven't gained 2 victories. Well, we have 2 victories, actually. Yeah, so it would be plus another hero, which would be, what, 6? Yeah. So our budget originally was 30, and then I wanted to make it a trivial encounter. So now we're going to make this an easy encounter, bumping it up 1 more grade. So what is that? Step by step. Easy encounters. Unless the heroes. Okay. Easy encounters are great for adventurers that want to give the characters lots of battles between respites, or for when you want to make it, have them feel like superheroes overcome. Okay, so what is the encounter budget? Where did I find that? Jesus. Usually worth one encounter. Is it just this chart? I'm pretty sure, yeah. Oh, here we go. Budget. There we go. Easy encounters have a budget of anything less than the party's ES but more than the budget for a trivial encounter. Okay, so it's got to be 30. The budget is 30 right now. Let's go back to humans. 30, no, it's 36 actually, because they have 2 victories. So yeah, 36 is the budget. For this, archers. Where are the archers? We have 3 plus. We have the trick shot. Again, a lot of this stream is just going to be me adding numbers together. So 6 plus. We have a knave, which is 8. Okay, it's racking up here. Yep. It is racking up, plus another 6 for the brawler. And then we have 4 death acolytes, which would be 3 plus death acolytes, and then raiders. And then plus another 3 for the raiders. So that is 29 right now. So we could have another squad. Maybe we just have another... do we have a scoundrel? Let's put a scoundrel on there as a boss. It's kind of like a... Yeah. I mean, not a literal boss or a leader or anything, but let's have another scoundrel in there. Yeah. Yeah, they should be up there with the brawlers because we have 2 squads that are archery. They're archers, so this one should be human scoundrel. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And then that would bring it up to 35. And so that's pushing it. That's definitely pushing it. Okay. The human scoundrel can also be somewhere on there. Probably, I mean, definitely on the ground level. Maybe watching over all this. Maybe that's the first one that they run into is the human scoundrel. That's the first big threat is the scoundrel. So this one will be why do they flee? Okay, when they get a sense that they're going to lose. This section, I know in the Delian Tomb they have certain things, certain verbiage like when the enemies are outnumbered 2 to 1. Yeah, we could do that. When the enemies... Yeah. Humans are outnumbered 2 to 1. They flee. And now this also is this. Okay. On a stream that Matt just did on Twitch, he brought up a very good point with adventure design, thinking, okay, he was saying like, you have to think about where the heroes are going to, where they could take a respite. This place, again, looking at the map, is an abandoned town, a ruined town. They could take a respite here if they need to. Only 2 combats in. Yeah, maybe. Do we want to then essentially nullify that by having them blow a whistle and call in the Hawk Lords? Is that might be bad? That might be bad design just because then you are kind of putting them on. You're kind of railroading them at the end of this encounter. that bad. I mean, I guess this doesn't. We don't need to figure this out. This isn't a problem that we need to solve right now, because we still have. Maybe we have this next montage test, in which they get another victory. Yeah, hold on. This is a problem that I can solve later, I think. I want to do a whole thing. I want to do a whole stream about montage tests in the context of this adventure as well, and coming up with different ones. So I will solve that problem later. That's for a later stream. Then we have the montage test. I know, actually, going back to this in the Hawk Lords, someone in a comment to the last stream said that maybe they could take down one of the Hawk Lords, and then that's how they get to the Sky City, is that they use one of the giant hawks. And that could be really cool. That could be really, really cool. And I like cool things. I don't want to... I'm not afraid to give the players really cool options and listen and hearing them out for this stuff, but it's gotta be... That's not going to be an easy encounter. That's the problem, is that they... You can't predict what the heroes are going to do. You can't predict what the players are going to think. So what about, instead of a whistle, the whistleblower uses a horn? So when they would blow the whistle, first they spend a turn running and grabbing the horn to blow. Yeah, there could be a nice indicator of that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so let's look at the map again. Let's look. Maybe the indicator is that they go out of their way. They're going out of their way, away from the fight, maybe taking some free strikes, and just to blow a horn. And it's like, oh no, we got to stop that. There's a new objective, has popped up, and we need to stop them from doing that. That's a good idea. Yeah. All right, let's see. They blow a whistle and call for the Hawk Lords. The horn is a distance away from the battle. Yeah, I always like indicators, like in 5e to recharge abilities. I recharge end of turn instead of start of turn, so they'll know the ability is coming up soon instead of being caught out. Yeah, nice. Yeah, giving them more info gives them more options, which makes the game more interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and showing off that this guy, or whoever this, this human Black Iron Pact person is, they are darting away from the battle. That is, that's a really good indicator that they are going to, they're doing something different, and you need to kill them. And it needs to be a distance away, maybe like over here somewhere, or maybe, yeah, it's got to be somewhere where they have like their horses and stuff. Like no, because that looks like they're fleeing. So it's got to be away from the horses, away from their stuff. So maybe their horses are over here or something, and then they have the horn is over here, and I'll figure out the exact placements. And I'll, doctor this up in paint. Maybe by the next time I stream, I'll have all that done, and then I'll show you, like, hey, this is where where they're going. But yeah, anyway, the horn. Maybe it's the town bell. Could be the town bell. Yeah. Where's the town bell? Is there a town bell here? Yeah, there could be a town bell, like over here. Right over here. There's a town bell right there. Yeah, that could be cool. And away from the battle, and gives the heroes a clue as to what is going on or what they are about to do. At the very least, they will be calling in reinforcements. So if there's a montage test, if afterwards, I mean, that is kind of maybe they get hold on, here we go now we're cooking. The heroes get one additional victory if they stop the just tell them, hey, you're gonna get another victory if you stop this guy from ringing the bell. If they stop the human from ringing the bell. Tell them in the moment, hey, this guy's going to try and bring in reinforcements. You don't really know who, but things are about to get a lot more dangerous very quickly. So you get another victory. So that if they don't do that, they can then get another victory here with the montage test as a last result. So then it's also good for building the next encounter. Wow, I'm smart. That way you describe it, maybe it's the town bell. That way you describe it as them making a mad dash toward the bell tower, and they have to intuit why they'd be going to the bell tower. Maybe. I might also just tell them, because tell them, hey, they're going to raise the alarm of some kind, and that you need that's not a good thing. Yeah. Maybe also flee. No. That adds a little bit of that adds an interesting dynamic, and it could be any of them. It could really be any of them. There's got to be one human that's the one spare human lying around. I'll have at the end of by that point in the encounter, if the heroes outnumber them 2-1. Oh, I might not have a spare one. Maybe one maybe one of the archers is staying back or something. I don't know. There's no way to predict how combat will go, really. You can structure it all you want, you can plan all you want, but there's no predicting it. So I might work on this again in a little bit. I do think instead of having them intuit what's going on, I think you do kind of need to spell it out a little bit. You got to give them a reward. You got to give them, hey, if you do this, you get this, right? And that way they will not only be motivated because it will be less dangerous an option, but they'll also get another victory. I like that. Yeah, let's do that. So then they will have, by the time they get to this montage test, which I will design later, this is just one of the fail states, pretty much. Eyes in the sky. And who's to say, like, I might need to also design an encounter, probably offline, of what total failure looks like, depending on what total failure looks like. I'm not sure if another combat would be useful. I'll have to think about what these are before I all right, we've been already streaming for an hour and 19 minutes. Let's get this going. We have this negotiation with the last drop of wine in an ocean of sorrow, who is the lord of the High Elf City. And I still need to work out all the kinks here. I need to work out what all of their offers are. But then after that, regardless, we do have an encounter here with the War Dogs. The War Dogs find and get to the High Elf Sky City, and they fight the High Elves because the heroes step in and say, no, you're not going to get anything. Or if negotiation has failed, I don't know what the other thing is, but I know that there's going to be a battle here. And depending on the outcome, I think the heroes are either going to be backing up the High Elves, or trying to get whatever magic item the High Elves are going to offer them, and then kill the War Dogs. I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, it's going to take place on this map. This is very Sky City-esque. I like it. And many levels to it as well. So this will be, you know, what, 3 up? Yeah, looks like 3 up. And then, you know, 2 up, 3 up as well for those 2. And then, you know, different elevations. I like that. And also the threat of, you know, falling off a cliff and perishing. So they can, you know, push a bunch of war dogs off of cliffs. That's cool. What do these crystals do? That could be cool too. Maybe crystals or give them like lightning damage as well. Maybe what kind of do they have? Light damage as well. Lightning damage and holy damage. Maybe, I don't know. That could be cool. Yeah, let's do. Finally meet the war dogs. Again, this is another great example of looking at a map and getting inspired by the little things, little details on there. Like this is obviously like an enchanted crystal here that is you know, casting some form of spell. That's cool. Let's see what happens with that. Let's think of different cool things that could represent. Yeah. So this encounter needs to be, hold on, let's see where we are at with them. So the heroes now gain their 5 cost heroic abilities. So they're almost, I think they're almost a full character. Let's see. By the 4th encounter. Okay, a little thing for the 4th encounter. Let's see what they get for 4th encounter. They get a ward for the talent. So in the same, looking at the same level. Are these ancestral things? No. Yes, this is the orc ancestry thing, right? The elementalist. 4th encounter, they get shadow meld. So yeah, they get their ancestry stuff. Cool. Get their ancestry stuff for the yeah, note. Get their ancestry features. Double check. Okay, so here we are. War dogs. Let's go to war dogs. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Okay, actually, let's go to the wrong document there. Let's go to nope, wrong page. So we want a standard encounter for this. Okay, so standard encounters have a budget that is between the party's ES and the party's ES plus the encounter strength of 1 hero. So they will have how many victories at this point? They will have maybe 1 from the okay, hold on. So they're gonna have let's recount here. 1 victory from the montage test that we still need to write. 1 victory from the zombies. 1 victory from this fight. Maybe 2. So maybe 4 victories. Montage test will also be the alternate to the bell. And then maybe they might have 5 victories. Holy gods. Okay, so they might have 5 victories. So that means that you are then adding 2 extra heroes essentially to the fight. So then that has an encounter value of 42. Oh goddamn. We're gonna have some fun with this one. War dogs. Okay. War dogs are really cool. Look at this guy. Look at this guy's tongue. Look at that guy. Okay. How many did I just say? 36? I'm pretty sure I just said 36. Oh god. Oh my god, no. Right, as if we had... Oh my god. What is going on here? Step by step. there. Oof. Where's the... Here we go. I was scrolling up when I should have been scrolling down. So, no, we have 42. 42. Right. Okay. War dogs. Remember, 42. 42. Budget. If I can spell budget. $42. Okay. War dogs. Again, this is essentially the climax of the adventure. Hello, Matthew. Just randomly decided to join the stream. Well, thank you. We're designing a war dog adventure, or an adventure, yes, and then also a war dog encounter. This will probably be the last. We have one more encounter that we still need to build, which will be the rival encounter, which is going to be very easy to pick out, and then we will be done. Okay, so we have a budget of 42. Let's go crazy. Let's go crazy with this one. Let's go nuts. Yeah, let's go nuts. Here's a calculator. So I think for this encounter, I'm going to start using Malice. I think, because if this is the third encounter, the first two I haven't been using Malice. The first one I didn't use Malice. Nobody has any heroic abilities. The second one, they start to get to know their heroic abilities. They start using their 3 cost, I believe. And then for this encounter, they have their 5 cost. And the only difference between this encounter and the next one is, I believe, just ancestry stuff. I'd have to double check again, but I think it's just ancestry stuff. So I think it's a cool idea if I start using Malice. I'm like, oh yeah, you know that thing you can do? I have that stuff too. I have heroic resources as well. What level would your players be? First level with 5 victories. I believe 5 victories. You start using Malice. I think that this will make it I think this is the right moment to bring in Malice. To show them no. This is what, these are how monsters work now. You know what I mean? It ramps up the tension here. Okay, let's look at the map. Let's look at the map and understand where the heroes will be. Probably in this area here. And the war dogs. The war dogs will probably be in this area and maybe these areas out here. Maybe the heroes are up here and the war dogs are down here. I don't want it to be just trivially easy for them to just knock them into the void here. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. We need the first wave of enemies should be some... Oh yeah, they charge. I want them to charge at them. Conscripts. Or they're going commando. I don't know. I like the ambushers. I like the conscripts. We're going to use both of these. Let's go with Harrier. So we're using Harrier, and then their whatchamacallit will be. Look at this guy. Look at this beauty. Look at that beauty. Oh my God, that face. A face only a mother could love. Only Ajax loves that face. That's my train of thought. Harrier. Okay, Harrier is going to be yes, this one with their teeth. Oh God. Yeah, this one. This one. War Dog Eviscerate. Okay, War Dog Eviscerate and the other Harrier. Okay, War Dog Eviscerate. Yeah, I spelled that right. Let's put the EV on here. EV3. Nice. Use some conscripts as well. EV3. There we go. Make them bold. So they will be the chargers. They'll be charging in. I like that. If used with the charge action, this ability gains an edge. Dangerous. And we need some sharpshooters as well. We need some. If we have Harriers, we need archery as well. So hold on. Let's see. We have a budget of 42 minus 6. So we're down to 36 now. Then we need, let's have some archers. Yeah, let's get some artillery forces here. Sharpshooters. EV3. And where's the archer? Artillery. The Crucibite. Oh, This guy. Holy gods. Yeah, he's going to use the old flame belcher. Yeah, he's got an upset stomach. He's breathing fire. Crucibite. EV3. All right, so minus another 6. We're down to 30 left in our budget now. We use this guy. We got to use one of these. Who are you? You're a brute? Yep, we got to use a brute. I know, right? Matthew has not seen the monster book. Wow, this is cool. Yeah, it is. Look at all these. Look at all these. These are the bad guys in this whole adventure. And I wanted specifically to use enemies that you wouldn't find in 5e. You wouldn't find in Forgotten Realms or Eberron or wherever. You're not going to find these guys. These guys are freaky little guys, you know? And look at these ones. They're all patchwork folks who are just like repurposed from literally the body banks. That is so cool. They make such cool villains. And that is definitely the point. You won't find these guys anywhere, not in Pathfinder or D&D, anywhere. You're not gonna find these guys. You could make you could adapt them for those, but they're not going to be as cool as this. Look at this guy. He's got 3 arms, all these, like all the stitching and everything, looking like a hipster Chucky doll. Oh my God, he just so cool. This guy's got wings. And he's got blinders on. Like, come on now. Come on. And he's got, look at his little feet. Oh my God. Like, you can't. Come on. This is practically, like, this is Bane. That's Bane. That's Bane. This is awesome as well. Look at the legion of them. And this dude is the type of monster with this head, with this. This is the type of monster I want in my. Look at this. This is probably the end boss. This is probably the end boss right here. If this ever went to like 10th level, which I don't imagine it will, but it'll probably go to 2nd level. But this is the kind of end boss that I would want. And then that's not even 4th echelon. This is 4th echelon. This is 10th level stuff right here. This would be the 10th level villain. He's an elite defender. And And he's not... Come on. Come on. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He just oozes personality. These are regimented, trained, highly trained and tactical monsters. Not even monsters, soldiers for Ajax. And they're allowed to look like this. That is so... And each piece of art tops the last one. This is a dude who's just a chest, a headless chest full of tanks of brains. No, you can't get better than this. You can't get better than this until you get to this one who has multiple versions of herself there. Just looking at the art sells it. Just looking at the art sells the war dogs. Oh my god, they're so cool. Oh my god. All right. Enough gushing. I gotta look at the brain jar. Sorry, I gotta look at this guy again. It's so cool. Portal to the mantle, portal to the void, portal to the sky. Crash and burn. When Vesper is reduced to 0 stamina, they move up to their speed and then explode, dealing 4d6 damage to each adjacent enemy and object. Any enemy who takes more than 14 damage this way vertically slides 5 squares. It's amazing. Portal to the mantle, portal to the firing line. Jesus Christ. You could have a whole end boss party filled with this guy, this freak here, and this guy with a bunch of portals. Like what? Oh, thank you so much, Matthew. That is too kind. Welcome to being a risen hero. Come on. Then this one, yeah, no, this is it. This is it. This is the game right here. Then you got this freaky little guy. Look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him. Oh my god. What is this? What is this? Oh. Okay, we gotta get back onto it. We gotta get back to it. He's got wings. He's got wings from probably a dragon knight or a devil or something. These are definitely devil feet. No, devils have hooves for feet, but something. Maybe a harpy? I don't know. What? Ooh, they had fun with these, didn't they? They just said, go wild. All right. War Dog War Frog. Okay, we've got to do the War Dog War Frog. The War Dog War Frog is in. It's locked. You don't need to homebrew new monsters. No, you don't. They've got it all. They've got it all. And yet people do homebrew. You can look in the MCDM Discord. They got a bunch of stuff. So we got to do the War Dog War Frog. That's gonna happen. Just a matter of who's gonna be the captain. War Dog War Frog. How is that the first time I've heard of that? EV6. Oh god. Yeah. Is that too silly? Is that too silly to be in this first War Dog encounter? What are they? Size. 1S. Climb, swim. The War Frog. The War Frog can jump 3 squares before or after making the strike. If they end this jump in cover... Now, I think this might be too silly. I'm going for like a very intimidating first interaction with the War Dogs. So we will save the War Dog War Frog for later. They're definitely going to... The end of this adventure is they find the War Dog fortress and they clean house. They have to destroy the War Dog fortress so that they never, do bad stuff again. I like the War Dog War Frog, though. Okay. We don't have archers, right? Do we not have archers here? Oh, that's the second echelon anyway. That's why I haven't read them. Okay. All right. Drew Winters. Yeah, I forgot about the War Frog. Yeah, I never even saw the War Frog. That was the first War Dog War Frog. That's dope. That's dope. Sub Commander support. Maybe we have a Sub Commander down here at the bottom. War Dog Sub Commander. EV4. The War Dog Teletolite? The first thing I think of is Teletubby, which I'm sure is not what they were going for, but that's the first thing I think of. 15 free strike 2. Ranged, cool. Corrupted ash daggers. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so cool. Caustic detonator. Jeez. All right. Let's do War Dog Phosphorite. That's a hexer. Yeah. Phosphorite. EV 4. And then who are going to be? He's the captain. Oh, shit. Captain there. And you're going to be a captain. And we're going to, who are also the hexers here for the minions. Again, matching the minions up with their roles is makes it dead simple to find out who could be the captain of which minions. So we have hexers. Where are the hexer minions? And then, of course, they don't have any hexer minions. Do they? They've got to have them. All right, so they don't have any, but that's fine. We could do commandos. Do we have commandos here already? No, we don't. All right. 4 War Dog commandos. EV 3 for 4 minions. Okay, let's see where we're at with our budget thus far. We have 42 minus 3 minus 3 minus 3 minus 3. Oh my god, I'm losing track already. Okay, minus 6 minus 6 minus 3 minus 4 minus 4. We still have 19 points. And let's spend them. Let's spend them. They have daggers here. A captain attached to a Tetherite squad has their stability increased by 2 by the number of... Ooh, I like that. I like that. Nice. They're sort of stitched together. I like that. Amalgamite, we already have. We gotta get Amalgamite. Yeah, let's get the Amalgamite. Ambushers, we're the brutes. Tetherite and, yeah, let's do Tetherite and Amalgamite. 4 War Dog. Tetherites, EV 3. And then we do, you can have one of those assassin guys hide under the stairs so that if the players charge forward to meet the conscripts, they find assassins suddenly behind them, flanking them for double edge. Ooh, I like that, yeah. Where you can have some of them hiding under the stairs, yeah. Yeah, that could work. That could work. I have just elf ball here as an idea. Like maybe they're trying to take the elf, the high elf. We have to think about what the war dogs want. What is their victory condition? Assassins under the stairs. Cool. Tetherites and Amalgamites. Oh my god, look at this guy. Oh my god. They're so cool. They're so cool. Amalgamite. Captain EV 4. So we have 19 minus 3 minus 4. Oh, no, not plus. 19 minus 3 minus 4. We only have 12 more points. So I think we could do another group. We could do another 2 groups. Eviscerite. Do we have Eviscerite? Yes. We have Crucibite. There's Phosphorite. What are you? Oh, the voice. We gotta have the voice in there. Yeah. Yep. Psychic damage and vertical slide. The voice, the Neuro Knight chooses one ally within 10 squares. Each target is either taunted by the ally or the ally has damage immunity 3 whenever any target makes a strike against them. The Neuro Knight's choice. Ooh, I like that. Until the start of the Neuro Knight's next turn. Okay, so we're going to use a Neuro Knight because that is a cool name. Neuro Knight. Captain, EV. 3. And they're defenders. So let's look for a defender. We don't have a defender. A minion squad. Have we used all the minion squads? Conscripts. Commandos, yeah. Sharpshooters. Tetherites. Okay, so we've used all of the different minion groups. So maybe we just have 2 of these Neuro Knights. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe we just have 2 of these Neuro Knights going at once. Copy and paste. So then -6. We only have 6 more left, so let's have another group. I don't want to paste with Copilot. I don't want to use Copilot. Shut up. Insert one below. So we have this B6, that B7. I think the Amalgamites punch a little above their EV, maybe intended since they're level 2. Ooh, the Amalgamites. Yeah, hold on. They are level 2. So maybe, well, maybe we go a little bit below. We go a little bit under budget. Just to be on the safe side. Yeah, let's go a little bit under budget. Now that you say that. Let's just go a little under. Because this is going to be this needs to be a difficult fight, but it can't be impossible. So, okay. Now let's look at our group, and then let's look at the map here. And let's get a cool war dog up on the screen over here as well. Yeah, this guy. This guy's the commander, right? That's the one. Ground commander, sub-commander. We have a sub-commander. I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be the one. That might be the sub-commander. Okay. Again, I like to deal with waves of enemies. We need these people. We need the conscripts are I believe are the ones who can have the charge on there. Conscripts can charge, yeah, okay. Let's... Tactics. Yeah, conscripts charge with Eviscerite, who is... I'm going to flesh all the tactics and all this stuff out afterwards, but I'm just getting the bare basics of, like, what does this group do? And that kind of thing, because I want this one to be very, very, very tactical. Eviscerite has reach, melee. Okay, yeah. With Eviscerite, who has melee 3. They try to pull the heroes closer. Should I just have another column right here? And just have tactics? That could be cool. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That is easier. We don't want that bold. Probably want to reduce the... I use waves in 5e as well, but it seems to work better in Draw Steel, probably due to the rising action design. Yeah, I think so. I think giving them a first wave to crash against is really helpful because then having a lot of enemies in there is not so overwhelming, and they get pinned down with whoever the archers are, and it can create a more dynamic and kind of like it builds up stages of the fight as well. So we have 6 groups and 5 heroes. So I think the sub commander will be at the one at the end, unless, of course, we look at the stat block and it has like, unless it's, tactically convenient for them to go first or in the middle or something. But this is probably the first group. They are they're definitely the first wave. Minions, charge. I want to keep this short, sweet, to the point, right? They charge, and then Captain pulls heroes closer with melee 3. Sharpshooters and Crucibite. Sharpshooters, Crucibite. That's the one with the line. Nice. They want to get... So... Captain wants to break the ranks, right? If he wants to make a line, yeah, he wants to breaks rank, breaks front line and uses flame line. I'll understand what that means. If I'm actually going to make this for an adventure, like a published thing, then I would, explain a lot more. But this makes sense to me. That's the only person it needs to make sense to at the moment. Sharpshooters, stay within 5. Get high ground. Makes sense for any archer, really. Commandos. Commandos are... Okay, they can throw daggers, or they can stab you with daggers at close range. Nice. They're ambushers, so they can hide as well. And they go with the phosphorite. See, this is fun. This bit is really, really fun when it gets going, and with the war dogs. Oh my god, it's so much fun to have so many different types of enemies in there, and coming up with the tactics for each one, and with these little notes of like, hey, remember this. That I really like this. It creates a really dynamic battle. I think the other 2 battles were kind of like, okay, we got to. I'm worried about a TPK. This one, I'm not so much, because they're already going to have 5 victories, and they're going to have their 5 cost abilities right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, they're going to be able to do their most powerful stuff. So I'm not that worried. I don't think they're going to die. Cut to the TPK. All right. Phosphorite. Here we go. Range 10, acid damage, and makes an agility test. Ooh, bleeding. That's nasty. That's nasty. Depending on their might. All right. And then, so what do they want to do? They want to be... I like the idea of putting these archers at range, but at a greater risk for being tossed off the side of the cliff. I really like that, of balancing the encounter with the actual... with the actual map. It is really cool. It is really cool. Stay at range. Of falling. Again, I'll understand what that means. And then we have the commandos. Yeah, okay. Commandos. If they throw daggers, they can attempt to hide if obscured. That probably won't apply in this one. So I think we're going to just be using the... Yeah, well, if it's balanced for a standard encounter, not a hard one, and there's a pretty big map, so not a lot of war dogs can be deployed all at once, but it should be fine. Maybe. Maybe. Again, maybe. No one's ever run this encounter before, you know? Not exactly. So, I think these guys don't need to be up front. I think the whole thing can stay at range, yeah. Yeah, I think this applies to all of them. Tetherites. Yeah, stay bunched up, right? Because of the tethered. Oh god, that's so cool. They're just like a big mound of arms and legs and whatnot. Stay. No. Stick together. Within melee 2 of heroes. Amalgamite. Yeah, this is cool. And they all have melee too. Yeah. Just be in this one big square. Yeah, stick together within melee 2. Big. Basically be a swarm. Neuronites. I like the idea of these guys just, all of them are just in this one big block and they are inescapable. You can't escape them. Like the first ones, the minions can be adjacent to the enemies, but the big guy can actually be 2 away. They can attack from the second rank. I like that. Nice. Yeah. The Neuronite can use the voice. They are a defender. 1 burst. Ranged. That's for everyone though. 5 burst with some malice. Each target is either... Choose an ally. Each target is either taunted by the ally or the ally has damage being... Oh, nice. Yeah. Attack this guy. Attack this one. Attack this one. Yeah. Yep. Stay... Ooh. 5 burst. At mid-range. Taunt. Artillery. Right? Taunt art. No. That's not clear enough. I want them to taunt the heroes to attack the artillery. So taunt heroes to attack artillery. And the sub-commander. Let's see what the sub-commander does here. I just picked him because, he is a sub-commander. Because he had the title. Command Saber. We can do that. This Iron Saint does not recognize retreat. Ooh. Each ally with... Okay, so stay in middle of battle. In the middle of the battle and... hold the line. I think this is going to be a tough fight because I think the only thing up until this point for tactics, in the form of tactics, is try to get in the chimney and call for reinforcements, and then really nothing because the undead are pretty much mindless. And the DTO pushes heroes. So this is going to be the first time that the heroes see bad guys really thinking tactically, thinking you know, behaving in a way that is similar to them when they're, you know, in between turns. These guys know what they're doing. And it's dangerous because Cliff. Dang. Okay, and then the denouement. We're going to do rivals. So the rivals of this adventure, they are the B plot. They are the ones who have been following the heroes and want to get the reward that the heroes are going to get when they go to could add hostages. Oh, they could, yeah, maybe hostages, yeah. Ooh, I like that, maybe hostages. I'm guessing high elf hostages. Maybe. The rivals have been, at the very beginning of the adventure, they challenged them to a gambling, or, you know, a round of gambling, as it were, and have been kind of a thorn in their side narratively from in the very early stages of the game. And then they have been secretly following the heroes as they travel. And the rival party, I forget what I call them, first and... what did I call them? Something ridiculous. The first and finest. That's their party name. So the rivals, they are sort of like the denouement. They're kind of like the scouring of the Shire type, you know, extra bit at the end. This is it should be a tough fight, but they do have a chance for a respite somewhere in here. Yeah, somewhere in there, or they can go back to the town. So they might have 6 victories. I don't know how many victories that War Dog encounter would get them. I might give them 2 just because. Just to sort of stoke the flames a little bit. Like if I give them 2 victories, then they're like, wow, we have 7 victories going into any fight. We're 7 resource right out of the gate. We can take on anything. But they might be down on recoveries. They almost certainly will be after 3 combats. Yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely be a big question, and that's on purpose, right? That's supposed to be on purpose. Do they get 2 victories to tempt them to carry on? Yeah, we should do that. That's cool. That's fun. That's evil. So this next fight is sort of clearing up the B plot a bit. You've taken care of the A plot essentially for the adventure, and now the B plot comes back right when you just as they forget about the rival party. They can you know, come back. So I already have them all figured out, other than I don't have a sensor stat block in here, but that's fine. We can work on that. I can do that offline or something. And there are rules in here as well for who should be whatever. So let's look back at the very beginning of the adventure here. It's a devil. Oh God, who is it? Devil tactician, I think, maybe. Let's see if this balances, because I was writing another adventure and then I stole the. Both adventures started the same way, and then I stole the whatchamacallit, the rivals from that. Oh my God! All right, yeah, here we go. Devil tactician. Yep. Devil tactician. Holder shadow, because of course, and these have to mirror the classes of the party, because that's cool. Revenant, human censor, Hakan, earth How do I spell that? Elementalist. Cool. And dwarf fury. So again, this is just easy. This is just, you know, me plopping another thing in there. This is gonna be the map here. So they get them again on a cliffside, on a broken bridge, and the bridge will be, you know, intact, and then presumably the rivals will destroy the bridge, and thus trapping half of the heroes on one side and half of the heroes on the other. And, you know, the corresponding rivals will be on either side. I'll, you know, ask them about marching order, all that. I will, you know, entrap them basically, and they'll be on the back foot. They will be, you know, definitely on the back foot for this encounter. But again, shouldn't be impossible. 3 squares wide for the bridge. Yeah, I like that. And I mean, and this isn't like the end all be all if they get pushed off the cliff and into the water, because they just get washed away or something. They just get washed down the river. They're not going to take so much falling damage. They would be ridiculous, you know? They wouldn't kill them. So let's go with tactics for this one. Tactics. Okay, the tactician. Overwatch, okay, nice. I mean, yeah, just get them into, yeah, go late and get wait for allies. Wait for allies to be close. And again, by this 4th encounter, the heroes have their entire character sheets unlocked, as it were. Overwatch, nice. 3 malice for a main action where they deal damage and weaken them. Cool. And then 1 ally. Yeah, they're definitely a ranged guy. Range. Go late. Stay at range. Wait for allies to get close. Shadow. Shadow is before T. Yeah, I guess move in and coat the blade. Yeah. I mean, again, this one's pretty easy. This one's pretty easy to you know, follow. It's pretty easy. You know, coat the blade, make sure that they're bleeding, and then deal extra damage to them. And you're also going. This also introduces rivalry, where you're going to have an extra D3 whenever you're targeting your rival, and it should be easy to determine who is whose rival, because you're the same class. You do the same things. Rival sensor. We don't have that. Here are customizing rivals. Replace cutting sarcasm. So this is sensor. Okay, here we go. Reverse their might and agility scores. Replace their signature ability with the sensors. Your allies cannot save you ability, adjusting it to target 2 creatures and deal extra damage equal to the sensor's level. Replace their second main action with Behold, a Shield of Faith. Nice, nice, nice. Replace their trait with Lead by Example. I will make a custom stat block when I'm not online and take care of that. Earth Elementalist. Where's the Elementalist? You're over here. Yes. Okay, so this is definitely a green magic and green magic. Yeah, the Earth Devours. Nice, yeah. So this could be a green elementalist, or it could be a earth as well. I kind of pictured them to be an earth elementalist, but I could change the description to be a green elementalist. Maybe it has a bunch of vines crawling over them instead of, these big, forearms coated in stone. So what are we doing here? 3 cube. So again, stay at range. Keep the in place. Jaws of the Void. Oh, okay. And then they can teleport. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. We don't have a conduit, so we just have the Fury left. Dwarf Fury. Oh yeah, you are trying to. They're at the front line. Frontliner, and yeah, I'll say the Fury's size or smaller. While the target is grabbed this way, the Fury gains an edge on strikes against them. Target small heroes. I don't know if we have any small ones. I don't know if that's accurate. Oh no, there's still 1M. Yeah, okay. Target squishies, yeah. That seems like a good way to spell that. So yeah, I think we're done. I think this is it. I think that we have finished this exercise in building 4 encounters. Again, that doesn't account for the other 2 parts of this, but that's for a different stream, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, we've made some really cool encounters that scale in difficulty. That's the big thing that we need to keep in mind, for sure. Yeah, I think the next time that I stream this, depending on if I can get my editing software up and running, it might be. It'll definitely be sometime this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday if there isn't another video out. My editing software is on the fritz right now, and it's impossible to edit the next episode of the Delian Tomb without it, obviously. So if there isn't an episode of the Delian Tomb out this week, we will be streaming more of this, building this adventure. Probably next will be montage tests, and then I want to also get the negotiation baked into the adventure itself, where you actually learn about the person you're going to be negotiating with as the adventure progresses through different vignettes, through different different means. If you hear about the High Elves, you need to learn something about them. You need to learn one of their motivations, and it needs to be fairly obvious in hindsight, I think. Because, again, I'm not going to teach them how the negotiation system works at the very beginning of the adventure. I'm going to teach them it when they get to the actual negotiation. And I'm going to hand them a list of all of the motivations and all of the pitfalls. Yeah, thank you very much. Oh God, I am so sorry. That sounds like it's horrible. Wow, 3 hours, jeez. Yeah, but when the negotiation starts, I want to give them a list of all the motivations and pitfalls, and not specifically these ones that they have, not reveal all of that, but they should, if I do a good enough job, they should be able to line up, okay, at least 2 of each, so that then they could know where to, which topics to bring up and which topics to avoid. but that's, again, a different stream. If I do stream multiple times this week, then that is what we will cover, is the montage tests and then the negotiation, baking that in and filling out this whole adventure so that I'm ready to run it at a moment's notice. I don't know when I'm going to actually be running this. Probably in person soon-ish, in the next few weeks, I think. And then I'm not sure. I think I'm also going to run it for the channel. Yeah, I think I will. I think that's going to be several adventures down the line, a couple months away from actually seeing it. But yeah, I think I'm probably gonna run it for the. Yeah, that's when the power roll. Hello, the power roll. Yeah, my computer can't do two things at once. It really can't. It can't. It just can't. OBS and I don't get along, and then if I try to record like Baldur's Gate, which is I mean, granted that's a very intense game for my computer, it can't do that. So I want to get to a point where I can stream Baldur's Gate because I think that'd be cool. But that is not in the cards right now. And will I be streaming this adventure? I will be recording it and then editing it like any other adventure that I run. I'm getting, the more and more it's coming together, the more I'm liking it, and I think it's more likely that I'll run it and record it. Yeah, I think it's probably guaranteed at this point. I don't know. I just don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be the next one that I do. We're recording the final session of the Delian Tomb a week from tonight, and then I'm wrapping up another adventure on Friday, and I think I don't have the next adventure locked for my Friday night game. That's when I usually run. So this might be it. I just need to come up with a cool title for it, and then write the other two parts, and then that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. I think the stream's over. When next we meet up, we're either going to do the negotiation or the montage tests. Yeah, I want to split them up into different streams so that, you know, if you're looking for how to do a montage test, you can click on that stream. And if you're looking for how to design a negotiation, click on that stream. So yeah, I think the stream's done. Thank you all for sticking with it. If you're watching, if you're still here by now, wow, thank you. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Thank you all for watching.